Dr. Weeks is one of 4 Syracuse City schools, along with Fowler, the Institute of Technology at Syracuse Central, and H.W. Smith, that are part of the Joint Schools Construction Board Phase 1 project undergoing major renovations. This building has been transformed into a 21st century school with an internet protocol paging system, new door access security systems, and a wireless infrastructure. Dr. Weeks students now learn in high-tech classrooms with smart boards and sound reinforcement devices that allow teachers' voices to be magnified throughout the classroom. No more sleeping in class. The classrooms all have geosynchronous clocks. Natural light streams through the brand new windows, and the gymnasium is equipped with a state-of-the-art synthetic rubber floor, similar to what can be found in colleges and universities all over the country. The Library and Media Center has 2 teaching labs, 3 smart boards, and more than 60 computers. There is a large group instruction room that will be available for community use and will be used by our teachers for professional development. It will be equipped with a projector, podium screen, and smart board. This is a true community building with a community-based health center and a parent education room. Our students now have this state-of-the-art educational setting in which to learn and maximize their awesome potential. To see their faces light up as they walk into their brand new school is priceless. I want to thank everyone in this great community for supporting this investment in public education and in Syracuse's children. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Please stand for the invocation by Pastor Leslie Johnson of the Tucker Missionary Baptist Church.
Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessing upon our city, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, for all who exercise just and rightly authority. Teach them insight from your years of teaching us, that they may administer all duties of Syracuse fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Create a fresh blessing upon our lives, that all inhabitants of our city may have the same spirit of love. Make citizens of all race and creed forge a common bond of true harmony, to banish hatred, crime, violence, and bigotry, to safeguard the idea of free institutions that are pride and glory of our city. May this city, under the leadership of our mayor, be influenced for good throughout our county, until all citizens understand the inviting and unifying for the cause of peace and freedom and equality must be had. May you bless us under the providence to be an influence for freedom, helping us to fulfill the vision of what the preacher has said of old. Nations shall lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. God bless our city, which is filled with wonderful citizens with myriad backgrounds. And God bless the officials who have supervised our city as Syracuse continues to evolve into a great metropolitan city. To God, who unites us in prayer, gives all assistance to any of us the possibility of change of the landscape of our city. God continue to give vision to our mayor and to the staff members as she dreams of a better city for all people. God, who rules over this city like you rule over heaven, guide Stephanie Minor, our mayor, with a spirit to follow her ways and allow us to follow her as she brings harmony amongst all of us. So we listen on this day as she begins to prepare for us an invitation and invites us to participate. We thank you, God, and we ask of you, God, that you bless our mayor in such a marvelous way. I ask this in the name of the God that I serve. Amen.
Please remain standing as we proudly pledge allegiance to our flag featuring Principal Dare Duggar and Dr. Weeks students.
I have a number of our students, John Alloy, Markel Jones, Shay Slobdell, Shane Lobdell, Sean Lobdell, Shania Jackson, and Grace Babylon.
We now welcome the Honorable Van Robinson, President of the Syracuse Common Council.
Good evening. First, I want to thank all of you for being here this evening and joining us for the Mayor's annual State of the City address. I appreciate the attendance of my fellow councilors, our auditor, our county legislators, and our county executive, Joni Mahoney. I also want to thank for being in attendance our school board, and it's due to them and their perseverance and their foresight that we're in the lovely reconstructed buildings we're in now. And I cannot, when I give my thanks, forget my lovely wife, Linda Brown Robinson. You know, the Mayor's City of the City address gives the opportunity for the councilors, our legislators, and the Syracuse community. As our charter states, the mayor shall in each January present an annual message to the council upon the state of the city. This provision, which is modeled after our federal constitution, is the cornerstone of the checks and the balances of representative government. This annual report is much like the one the president must give to the Congress or a corporate CEO to its board of directors. It is their mechanism of accountability for the executive, the people's chosen leader, to make an explanation of what they have done, their vision for the future, all to the elected representatives of the people whom they serve. So tonight we gather here to hear this annual report from our mayor, Stephanie Miner. Since serving together on the council, I developed a respect and a friendship for our mayor. While we do not always agree, and are not shy about showing it, we both understand good people of good intentions can work together through challenging times and develop a shared vision for progress. The mayor and I have worked together on a variety of issues, ranging from public safety to neighborhood improvement and business development. And we've endeavored to make sure we have an engaged and informed citizenry. Substantial policy proposals and forwarded to the people of Syracuse a vision of a 21st century city. When we are able to have that leadership and to work towards that vision, we are truly able to give the people that elected us who represent the city they deserve. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that Mayor Miner, and having known her for the length of time I have, and her vision for the city is huge. And with that, I want to say to you Mayor Kleiner is on her way. Very short.
It's another balmy day in the city of Syracuse. The sun tried to peek through the clouds for most of the day. The cold temperatures and rush hour traffic are clogging some of the major roadways. If you're heading to the refurbished Dr. Weeks School for the State of the City address tonight, be sure to take a few extra minutes to get through all the construction and development, which are causing delays. You have two new messages.
Hi, Mayor Meyer. This is Senator Chuck Schumer. I just wanted to let you know I'm having a press conference on Monday in Syracuse, and it would be great if you could be there. If you can't make it, I'm having a press conference on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and possibly Saturday. Hope to see you there. Thanks, man.
Hey, Chancellor, what are you doing there? I'm looking at the connected Carter. What are you doing? I'm going to the State of the City. Fabulous. Good luck, but don't drive in the bike lane.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Let me tell you about a girl who knows. She and the baby and she live let's go. Every morning before the sun comes up, she bring the coffee in my favorite cup. So I know, yes I know, hallelujah, I love her.
Hey, Mayor, where are you going?
Jody, I'm going to the State of the City. What are you doing?
I'm just waiting. Do you know if it's going to rain today?
I don't think so. I'll see you at the State of the City.
You have one new message.
Hello, Mayor. This is Bill Magnarelli, your assemblyman. I was wondering if you're free for a little bit of lunch at Destiny this afternoon. I'm thinking of doing a little bit of shopping also. If you'd like to come, give me a call.
Hello?
Stephanie, it's John DeFrancisco. How are you doing?
I'm fine. What's up?
Well, I was just curious. You like being mayor?
Well, there's ups and downs, but I like helping people, and I think I'm really making a difference.
Well, I think so too. But how much do you make? Are you able to get away at all during the year?
Why do you ask?
Well, no reason. I'm just curious.
Well, I'll let you know, I just left an event, and people were talking about what a great job you're doing as our state senator, and I completely agree. I mean, I have to tell you, the residents of Syracuse count on you being our senator and fighting for us for a long, long time. They think you should be our state senator, and I agree forever.
Well, I appreciate it, Stephanie. You really helped me out a lot.
My car ran out of gas. I gotta get to the State of the City. Excellent. How's about that, huh? Is everybody excited? I'm very excited.
This city is my city, and I love it, yeah, I love it.
Thank you all for joining me for the 2013 State of the City Address. I want to thank Mark Nicotra for putting together that video for us. We had a lot of fun and I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank Pastor Leslie Johnson as always for his beautiful invocation and his great voice. And of course Council President Van Robinson for his kind introduction as well. I also want to thank Principal Dare Dutta for hosting us this evening and the children of Dr. Weeks Elementary School for leading us in the day. Take it from me, intimidating to be up here, and they deserve that recognition for the grace that they handled performing such an awesome task. So thank you very much. I want to, of course, also thank the Superintendent Contreras for her welcoming remarks. She and I share a deep commitment to fulfilling the mission of our schools. I also welcome the Commissioners of Education. Thank you for your hard work and for being here tonight. We are also joined this evening by members of the Syracuse Common Council, President Pro Tem Gene Kessner, Majority Leader Lance Deno, Majority Whip Pat Hogan, and Councilors Helen Hudson, Kathleen Joy, Jake Barrett, and Khalid Bey, and Nada Maroon. Also seated with the Council is City Clerk John Campanis. And I want to thank City Auditor Marty Masterpole as well for joining us tonight. I want to welcome representatives of our state delegation. There are staff here from Assemblyman Bill Magnarelli's office, Assemblyman Sam Roberts' office, Senator Valesky, and Senator DeFrancisco as well. So thank you all for being here. We are joined by members of our federal delegation and members of the Onondaga County Legislature, so thank you for being here. I see our distinguished County Executive, Joni Mahoney, is here tonight, and she is joined by members of her senior staff. Since taking office as mayor in 2010, I've had the distinct privilege and opportunity to work with the county executive on issues critical to our community, and I want to thank her for all of the work that she does and the kindness that she has shown me over these years. So thank you, Joni. This is my fourth State of the City address. 3 years ago, on a cold, similar tonight, but unlike tonight, very snowy evening on the campus of SUNY ESF, I delivered my first State of the City address. And I will never forget that night, because unlike tonight, it started not with laughter, but with my heart breaking. You see, on that night, we had what even I, as a native Central New Yorker, would call a horrific snowstorm. As I rode up the hill, I thought to myself, no one is going to come out in this weather. The snow was coming sideways, it was freezing, and to make matters worse, similar to tonight, the parking was far away, and so it forced people to walk. And I secretly thought, no one cares what I'm going to say about the state of the city. You see, I had just completed an exhausting campaign. Our team at City Hall was so new, they were asking where the bathrooms were. And most importantly, there were huge financial obstacles facing us. A struggling national economy, a laundry list of stalled projects around our community. The enormity of the challenge was so daunting, I worried it might just be overwhelming. And having spent an entire campaign season fighting an ever-present cynicism about our future, I was confident no one was going to show up because no one thought things were ever going to change. So I steeled myself to speak to my husband and some city councilors and a few dedicated commissioners. But then a funny thing happened. As my car slid up the hill and down the hill, I saw people, actually more like walking snowmen, standing in line to get in. And when I got into the place, my staff came up to me matter-of-factly and said, "There's a good crowd in there and people are excited." I didn't even try to hide my shock. I said, "You're kidding, right?" And the answer came back, "No, similar to tonight, it looks like every seat will be taken." And I was reminded again of what I have come to know every day since, that we are a resilient and hardy group, we Syracusans. That we care about, we believe in, and we will dedicate ourselves to a better future. And of course, on a personal note, that I am not alone in my pursuit of a better Syracuse. Now certainly, these last 3 years have presented intense challenges for our city. But tonight, I'm going to show you that we have taken on those daunting challenges, and through leadership, dedication, and simple hard work, we have made extraordinary progress. Progress, I dare say, some thought 3 years ago was not possible. Tonight, I will speak to you about long-delayed projects coming to fruition, neighborhoods sprouting up while other neighborhoods grow stronger, and of course, the constant innovation necessary to feed a successful 21st century city on the move. And make no mistake about it, Syracuse is, as my video journey here this evening demonstrated, a 21st century city on the move. Recently, last month, our own Syracuse City poet, Sean Kirst, did something somewhat unusual for a modern journalist. He revisited a position he took 5 years ago. Let's hear from Sean in his own words.
4 or 5 years ago, I led a group of Gold Ring students on a tour of downtown. We put together a video that we called the 9-cent tour of downtown, and it sort of reflected on where downtown Syracuse was at, mistakes that had been made in the past, hopes for the future, but in some ways it was sort of a wistful, even sad look at downtown Syracuse. So the other day, I go back, I find it on YouTube, and I looked at it, and I realized, and I offer this as kind of a thought at Christmas, because it's really a Christmas present for this community, but I realized just how far we've come over the last 5 years, and how anyone who finds that video on YouTube now is really getting a misrepresentation of what's happening downtown. But the bottom line is, what has happened in the last 5 or 6 years downtown is a sequence of development that many of us never believed we'd see in our lifetime. And you've got to walk around down here and say, there is a powerful sense that downtown Syracuse is coming back.
Now, after I read that column and watched the video, I called Sean, and I asked him if he could tell me what had changed between 2008 and 2013. Ever the journalist, Sean treated it as a rhetorical question. Now, I believe I know what changed, and I think 2013 will be a year filled with explanations of that change. That will come soon enough. Tonight, let's look at the results of that change. More than $265 million is currently being invested in our downtown. The Pipe Block project, located at the intersection of South Salina and Fayette Streets, is making visible and consistent progress. Once completed, this project will boast 25,000 square feet of ground floor commercial space and 78 new residential units. On Bank Alley, adjacent to the newly completed Label Shopper building, progress on its makeover continues. With sewer repair work finally underway, this project is moving forward and will create an entirely new urban space within our downtown. Previously thought of only as an unattractive utilitarian alleyway, Bank Alley is set to become an environment welcoming to pedestrians and will generate opportunities for unique residential and business entrances and will improve connectivity through downtown. Another recently announced project that will be transformative is the Sibley's building in the 400 block of South Salina Street. Sibley's is just across Salina Street from the recently renovated Days Brothers department store, now known as Days Plaza, which includes commercial space and 45 apartments, and my personal favorite, the very popular Café Cubal. It takes a lot of caffeine to run a city. The Sibley's project is slated to create 62,000 square feet of ground floor retail and 60 market rate apartments on the upper 3 floors. The Inns at Armory Square, a $30 million courtyard residence inn Marriott Hotel, will open this year at the corner of Franklin and Fayette Streets and plans to welcome an average of 90,000 guests to the hotel each year, leveraging more than $18 million a year in local economic impact. A few years ago, that block was just 2 parking lots that I used for an announcement in 2009. Today, that site is the location of the Washington Station building, which is the headquarters of O'Brien & Gear, the new Inns at Armory Square Hotel, and the Onondaga Creek Walk. Just across the creek are the revitalized SU Warehouse and the newly expanded Red House. All of these exciting projects showcase the renewed energy and demonstrate the dynamic urban renaissance that is taking place in the core of our city. Also, the Merchant Commons project marches ahead. Significant exterior improvements in recent months loudly announced the revitalization of this downtown block. The Merchants Commons project will bring an additional 66 new apartments. Downtown is now home to more than 900 market rate apartments, boasting a 99% occupancy rate. In total, there are currently 450 new residential units planned or under construction in downtown Syracuse. Merchants Commons will also have 34,000 square feet of commercial space, including the new home of the Syracuse Media Group, the new company that produces Syracuse.com and the Syracuse Post-Standard. In marking their move, the Post-Standard editorial board recently wrote, quote, "Downtown is on the move and so are we." Downtown Syracuse is the heart, the central organ pumping energy through the larger community. Its health is vital to the regions, and the vital signs are strong. I don't always agree with the Syracuse newspapers, but on this point we are on the same page, or perhaps I should say on the same tablet. This exciting new growth and development is certainly not limited to downtown. There are projects being planned with footprints larger than what we have seen in this city in decades. At Syracuse Hancock International Airport, the Passenger Terminal Security Access and Improvement Project is a $49.7 million investment that is being funded entirely by passenger facility fees, not city tax dollars. This project will modernize our airport and is slated to earn LEED Silver Green Building certification. It features a rainwater harvesting system, high-efficiency lighting, locally sourced materials, recycled construction materials, and has created more than 300 construction jobs. Once completed, these upgrades will vastly improve the experience of the flying public, business and recreational travelers, and ensure that Syracuse makes a good first impression for those who visit our community. These projects that I just mentioned reflect a new reality, where developments that previously people didn't even dare hope for are now being realized. Another example of this is Logan Crossing, the rebirth of the former Kennedy Square site. Kennedy Square, a 14-acre site located in the middle of Syracuse, opened in 1975, and by the mid-'80s had fallen into disrepair and neglect. Today, as you see, this site has seen the construction of the SUNY ESF and SUNY Upstate Biotechnology Accelerator Center. And last week, the final demolition of the legacy structures began, clearing the way for the development of a brand new mixed-use neighborhood. This project will extend the reach of downtown success and signal to the entire Central New York region and beyond that Syracuse is an active and vibrant city on the move with an eye firmly on our future. A number of the projects I have mentioned already tonight have been made possible by the successful advocacy of the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council. Say that 5 times quickly. The council, acting as a liaison between our region and New York State, has provided leadership, facilitation, and a unified vision to help bring home more than $93.7 million for Central New York. We at City Hall have advocated for our priority projects and policy initiatives, and in doing so, we've been able to bring in more than $20 million for the projects in the city of Syracuse alone. I want to thank my fellow regional council members and council chairs, Syracuse University Chancellor Nancy Cantor and Rob Simpson from Center State CEO, for their partnership and leadership in these hugely successful efforts. Our planning department, neighborhood business development, codes, and permitting offices have worked extremely hard to advance the enormous progress you see all over the city. With a city permit consultation office and a fine-tuned pre-development process, we were able to provide for a more centralized and streamlined review of development projects. Previously, drawings were shipped up to 6 different city departments for review, and developers had to navigate an approval process with little guidance. Now, a more rational and efficient process has helped foster more than $717 million in permitted construction value over the last 3 years, with nearly $330 million in 2012. These are record numbers, and as you can see, total construction values have increased every year since 2009. It takes a true community effort to make these successes possible, and I am proud that our team at City Hall is part and parcel of that success. And I would like to ask the city employees who make this possible and the department heads who lead them to please stand and be recognized for your work, which often occurs on weekends, after 5 p.m. and on other people's deadlines. Thank you for your service. That's all of you in the middle. Many of you in this room work with these people every day, and I have good news for you and for them. For years, the city of Syracuse has had possibly the worst email address anywhere. mayor@ci.syracuse.ny.us. Starting tonight, city employees can be reached at a much simpler and easy to remember email address. mayor@syrgov.net. And yes, the old addresses will still work. You can also reach us by Facebook and now Twitter, a new communication media for our city government. So while this unprecedented activity is inspiring, our city still struggles with the effects of vacant properties in our neighborhoods. In my time running for mayor and in the time since, I have heard repeatedly from every single neighborhood that vacant properties are the universal citywide scourge. It is a cry I heard, and in turn demanded that we provide a solution, which has come to be several innovative interlocking solutions. In last year's State of the City address, I announced that the city and county would be creating a land bank to assist in the collection of property taxes and to help advance neighborhood revitalization efforts. Still in its early stages, the land bank, now called the Greater Syracuse Property Development Corporation, enabled the city of Syracuse to issue letters to some 1,900 property owners who are so delinquent in their property taxes that their property is subject to seizure by the city through tax foreclosure. Those letters were sent out at the beginning of November, and in the first round of actual seizure notices that went out to 200 delinquent property owners around the city, just 2 weeks later. Since then, 21% of those property owners have paid their taxes or entered into a payment plan with the city. Even with this initial progress, we are bringing a compassionate approach to this effort by working with those who are truly limited in their ability to make ends meet. The city has facilitated discussions among nonprofit groups and government departments to create a network of supports enabling homeowners to avoid foreclosure due to tax delinquency. This network is striving to connect tenants who have been paying rent, seniors who may not be taking advantage of the exemptions available to them, and other homeowners struggling to get by. To this end, the City of Syracuse has engaged the expertise of the many and various partners you see here, and I would like to thank them for helping us in this. It is important to realize that the city's improved ability to collect property taxes, gain a greater foothold in revitalizing our neighborhoods, and in turn experience greater fiscal strength is dependent on the success of the land bank. It is time for us to establish a long-term funding mechanism for the land bank, ensuring the financial sustainability required to meet these shared goals. I want to thank the Land Bank Board of Directors, Chairman Vito Cicciola, Daniel Barnaba, James Corbett, Dwight Hicks, and Mary Beth Primo. Thank you for your service to our community in this new and extremely exciting endeavor. While the land bank is a vital new tool for the city to improve the collection of delinquent property taxes and leverage better outcomes for neighborhoods, it is only effective in instances where property owners have not paid their taxes. Unfortunately, there are nearly 1,200 properties in the city of Syracuse that are not seizable due to tax delinquency, but have been left vacant and detracting from the quality of our neighborhoods, while the owners ignore citations from our codes division. We need new ways to pressure these property owners to maintain their properties to acceptable standards. So tonight, I am announcing the introduction of legislation to create a vacant property registry in the city of Syracuse. The goal of the vacant property registry is to encourage property owners to get their property rehabilitated and occupied. This registry will require owners of vacant properties to register with the city annually, hire a local property manager, and put forth a plan either to rehab, stabilize, or demolish the property. The registry program will also institute a fee that escalates for each year the property is vacant. At least 10 other municipalities in New York State have adopted similar ordinances, and they are becoming increasingly common nationally. This will be a valuable addition to our array of options to address vacant and neglected properties and will complement the operations of the land bank. As a city, we too are property owners. And after several years of visiting city operations that stretched from Syracuse West to Skaneateles Lake and north to Hancock Airport, I asked one day, exactly how many facilities and properties do we own? And frankly, no one knew the answer. And that has to change if we are going to successfully manage the costs in the challenging years ahead. So this month, I created the position of Director of Facilities Management. Longtime Codes Director Mike Bova has begun an inventory of all city facilities, assessing their condition and calculating their costs. The initial estimate of city facilities is 284. As I discussed this with the county executive, she informed me that she had assigned her team to go down the same path and to begin to develop a comprehensive master plan for all county facilities. So tonight, I am pleased to report that once again, city and county staff will be working together to conduct this assessment with the obvious goal of driving down operating costs for the city and county taxpayers. The city alone spends $20 million a year on utility costs and hundreds of thousands more each year for repairs. So I want to thank Joni and her team for partnering with us, and we both look forward to sharing with you the results of our work. As we discuss these sweeping citywide initiatives and the effect they are having on our city, I also want to highlight some of the exciting projects occurring in our neighborhoods. One vacant property that we will no longer have to worry about is the Atiska building, a dangerous eyesore on the corner of Butternut and North McBride Streets. This building was a blight on the neighborhood and a danger to those nearby for decades. Through a partnership with Home Headquarters and St. Joseph's Hospital, we were finally able to tear down the Atiska building in the early summer of 2012. Now the site has been incorporated into a new plan from Housing Visions Unlimited called Salina Crossing, creating a new mixed-use building with ground floor office space and 20 units of quality, affordable housing on the second and third floors. The Babcock Shattuck House, also known as the Old Jewish War Veterans Home, is nearly ready for its own transformation. A partnership between the University Neighborhood Preservation Association and home headquarters is leading to the rehab of the building to create 4 new condominium units. In the Valley, the Cedar House Apartments, a vacant 30-unit dilapidated apartment complex, will have a new future as well. The city seized the tax delinquent property in October and conveyed it to the Syracuse Urban Renewal Agency to hold while Christopher Community and Atonement Housing applied for New York State low-income tax credits. When successful, the apartment complex will be demolished to make way for a newly constructed 36-unit complex owned and managed by Atonement Housing. St. Patrick's Lofts, LLC, a firm led by Gary Thurston, is renovating the former St. Patrick's School located at North Lowell and Hamilton Street on Tipperary Hill. The company is converting the nearly 43,000 square foot building into a mixed-use property, including 10,400 square feet of commercial space and 22 market-rate apartments. We completed the Onondaga Park Fire Barn renovation. This is yet another project that neighborhood residents had begun to think would never come to fruition. After more than a decade of this initiative floundering, this beautiful building is now open once again and available as a resource to the community. I want to thank the incredible efforts of the countless community leaders, especially members of the Onondaga Park Association, and thank them for their work. Similarly, the renovation project at the Elmwood Mill building in Elmwood Park was completed in May of 2012. This historic structure now serves as a beautiful and historic community resource. Next is the Eastwood Skate Plaza. This community initiative has been spearheaded by the Eastwood Neighborhood Association and neighborhood volunteers of all ages. The group was awarded $150,000 in New York State Parks funding. The project budget is now $252,000, including a contribution from the Eastwood Neighborhood Association of $13,000. The project is being designed and we anticipate construction during 2013. The Libba Cotton Monument Project, which started back in 2006, was finally completed in the fall of 2012. The monument is a tribute to the Grammy-winning folk musician who made Syracuse her home. The Southwest Community Center recently underwent an expansion to better house the Syracuse Cooperative Federal Credit Union. This project brought banking services to the underserved Southwest neighborhood. The total project cost was $150,000, with costs being shared by the credit union and the city. The credit union opened for business this past November, and in 2012, Northside residents were faced with the closure of an anchor neighborhood grocery store. The closure of Wegmans on Pond Street was of great concern to me, and bringing in a new grocer was a top priority for my administration. Our team was able to work with Tops Friendly Markets to reactivate this space and provide a neighborhood grocery store to the north side once again. Ready access to a full-service grocer like Tops is what makes our city a walkable, healthy, and convenient place to live. And I am proud that we were able to work together as a community to turn a disappointing situation into such an important community victory. Welcoming new grocers into the city of Syracuse seemed to be another theme of the last year. Price Right constructed a brand new store on Erie Boulevard East. At Valley Plaza, we were successful in getting Tops to open a new store there. And we were also in the process able to remove the old police trailer, which had become an eyesore. On the near west side, we have seen dramatic changes, including the arrival of WCNY, pro-literacy, and renovations at the Skiddy Park Playground. The Near West Side Initiative, the West Side Residents Coalition, and all their partners should be proud of this remarkable transformation. In Eastwood, the corner of Midler Ave and James Street is coming back to life. After years of vacancy and neglect at the former bowling alley site and Steak and Sunday restaurant, New commercial uses, including McKinney Drugstore, are rising as attractive new assets to this landmark business district. We also recently opened the Eastwood Satellite Police Office on James Street. The Eastwood Community Policing Unit previously operated in an eyesore trailer in this area. By removing the old police trailer and opening this new office, we have created a stronger, more visible police presence in the area and provided flexible space for community use. Phase 1 of the Connected Corridor project is now complete, and the second phase of the project through downtown Syracuse will begin this year, thanks to a $10 million Tiger grant awarded from the U.S. Department of Transportation. A project that marked a shift towards neighborhood-scale economic success was the construction of the new Dunkin' Donuts on North Salina Street. While typical development of such a store would likely have resulted in a one-story, big box-style building set back from the street, this project was a resounding success, reflecting urban design best practices. I constantly hear from citizens that when they travel to other cities, they see stores developed in ways that fit in with the surrounding neighborhood fabric. For years, it seemed we told ourselves that those type of projects only got done that way in other cities. Through the efforts of our planning and business development teams, the City Planning Commission, and the efforts of the Greater North Salina Street Business Association and the Northside Urban Partnership, we were able to work with a developer and now have a structure that is attractive and respectful of the historic character of the business district. This project, and many others, are proof that good planning, public involvement, and setting high standards for our community can and does lead to outcomes that promote a healthy business environment while also protecting neighborhoods and their unique character. In 2007, SUNY ESF professor Emmanuel Carter wrote that a succession of city administrations had managed the city without including the critical skills of planning expertise. He urged the inclusion of professional urban planners to make Syracuse a thriving city. Quote, "The use of these skill sets in managing a city acknowledges that people live in cities not only to make a living, but also to be part of a viable, ever-changing, complex, meaningful, and beautiful collective that is physically, socially, economically, aesthetically better than the sum of its parts." I agreed with Professor Carter, and we created a city planning office because sound long-term planning and decision-making are critical to fostering a healthy and vibrant city today as well as in the decades ahead. Or, as Professor Carter said, quote, "Good planning attracts private and public investments and protects investments made by the community, the developer, and the homeowner." In late 2012, the Bureau of Planning and Sustainability, in partnership with other city staff, community groups, local public and private sector institutions, and dozens of volunteer experts from the community, completed the City of Syracuse Comprehensive Plan 2040. This plan is a substantial revision to the comprehensive plan adopted in 2005 and adds significant policy detail to the plan, including land use and development, sustainability, historic preservation, bicycle infrastructure, and public art. This highly detailed plan stands as a new long-term policy roadmap for us to continue to be a leading 21st century city. After decades and 3 failed attempts to draw viable development proposals for the Inner Harbor, I asked the New York State Thruway Authority to transfer the Inner Harbor land to the city to give us a chance to bring development proposal to this underutilized area. In early 2012, an independent committee selected core development submission for a mixed-use neighborhood with office, residential, commercial, and hotel development as the winning proposal. We have already begun to see progress in the Inner Harbor as a site preparation is underway, And just last week, the board of the Empire State Development Corporation approved the granting of $3 million to do site cleanup. This is a critical first step for advancing this $350 million development project. Embracing our waterfront property and setting high standards for development will lead to the Inner Harbor developing as one of the most exciting and dynamic urban spaces in our community. Similar to our history with the Inner Harbor, after years of delay and program downsizing, I am excited and relieved to be in this room to demonstrate to you firsthand that our team was able to get the school's reconstruction project back on track. Phase 1 of the Joint Schools Construction Board program is nearly complete. Renovations here at Dr. Weeks School, the Institute of Technology at Syracuse Central High School, and Fowler High School are substantially complete. Work at H.W. Smith will be completed later this year. Leadership over the last 3 years that has focused like a laser beam on renovating and opening schools has led to beautiful new facilities like the one we're in tonight. Our children deserve facilities like these, and we are delivering them. As Phase 1 draws to a close, I am pleased tonight to announce that tomorrow, Senator DeFrancisco and Assemblyman Magnarelli will be introducing new legislation to authorize JSCB Phase 2. Senator Valesky and Assemblyman Roberts have also graciously agreed to co-sponsor this bill. The legislation, when authorized, will allow the city and the school district to fund the second phase of school renovations and improvements. JSCB Phase 2 legislation will enable the City of Syracuse to issue bond anticipation notes that will allow the city, the school district, and JSCB to get an early start on the planning, design, and approval for Phase 2 projects. This legislation is an important step in providing the children of the Syracuse City School District safe and productive learning environments, a core responsibility of each and every one of us. As we focus on the character and the quality of life in our neighborhoods, it's critical that our number one priority continues to be public safety. Police Chief Frank Fowler has been a tireless guardian for our community. His steadfast commitment to the safety of our city is unmatched, and his ethic, compassion, and professionalism make me proud to call him my chief. Thank you, Chief Fowler. In pursuit of justice, Chief Fowler has consistently taken innovative approaches to making our city safer. He has spearheaded a number of operations aimed at getting gang members and other criminals off our streets, including Operation Safe Surrender, Operation Rolling Thunder, Operation Vigilance. Chief Fowler has also led our surveillance camera initiative. In the spring of 2011, public safety cameras were installed in the Near West Side as part of the police department's COPS pilot project. In the first 6 months alone, overall crime in the target area was down 25% when compared to the same time frame of the previous year. Incidents of shots fired in the target area were down 14%, loitering was down 45%, and reported drug crime was down 57%. Soon, we will be rolling out a new phase in surveillance camera deployment, with additional camera locations in the Butternut Street corridor, Midland Ave between Kennedy Street and Brighton Avenue, the Central Village area, South Avenue near Tallman Street, and South Getty Street in the Skunk City area. Last year, the police department initiated the SWEEP program, which identifies specific target areas and coordinates enforcement activities among various units. The new wave system of deployment has the effect of maximizing police enforcement within target areas, while also allowing different units to move across various city neighborhoods more efficiently. This will mean greater police coverage around the city and police deployment that avoids operational overlap between units. Two other new programs that have potential to make a significant impact in the year ahead are called CODE and TRUCE. CODE, standing for Chronic Offender Domestic Enforcement, has been in operation over the last several months and targets repeat offenders in domestic violence incidents. TRUCE, a program set out to roll out later this year, is a partnership of the community, law enforcement, and service providers that is designed to reduce gun violence. This model is one of focused deterrence, additional enforcement efforts on a small number of offenders who were responsible for a disproportionate share of gun violence, particularly gang members. The police department's data-driven approach was vital late last year as the crime analysis unit concentrated our police officers to catch a number of juveniles responsible for an alarming number of burglaries. Burglaries were up last year both in the city and in the county, and Chief Fowler's team is convinced that one of the reasons is the easy access burglars now have to dump stolen computers and electronic devices like GPS units at the increasing number of pawn shops. Last year, we in the city passed a city ordinance requiring pawn shops to keep more detailed records on who brings them merchandise. Syracuse police check several times a week with shops inside the city. Regrettably, they watched as one pawn shop relocated their store in the city to a spot literally a few hundred yards outside the city border and outside the reporting requirement. I have spoken to the county executive, who had vetoed an earlier version of this legislation while encouraging the county legislature to make changes to address shortcomings that were identified in the public hearing. I have also spoken with County Legislature Chairman Ryan McMahon and Minority Leader Linda Irvin, and they have agreed to work with the county executive to close this loophole this year, passing a law that will apply the reporting requirement to pawn shops throughout the entire county. I have spoken frequently, since even before I took office as mayor, about the unprecedented financial challenges our city is facing. These difficulties have been brewing for many years, and there is no question that navigating the fiscal crisis will get harder before it gets easier. This is not typical budget season debate, and it's not political hyperbole. We are in the midst of a fundamental structural and unavoidable forces which have been and will continue to demand staunch fiscal discipline, not gimmicks. This discipline has been the trademark of my administration, and at times has meant that I will not win popularity contests with everyone. But I am proud tonight to announce to you that because of this fiscal restraint and through the enormously hard work of our city departments, we are projecting an $8 million surplus for the current budget year. While this is certainly positive news and a reflection of a lot of tough decisions, we must take a long-term look ahead. Governor Cuomo's spending plans project aid to municipalities will remain flat through 2015-16. State aid and incentive to municipalities funding for Syracuse at $71.7 million is the city's second largest revenue source, other than sales tax. Property taxes are subject to a 2% property tax cap, so little increased revenue can be raised there in the near term. Increases in sales tax are nice, but they are difficult to predict and won't lead us to complete fiscal solvency. The city balanced the 2012-2000 budget with $20.9 million in one-time only state spin-up aid. We will not have access to this money again. All of this results in beginning the 2013-14 budget cycle with a gap of $20.9 million. So our $8 million current year budget surplus will go towards closing that gap. This buys us a little time, but not much. We will continue to ask our partners to give us real solutions. We will continue to ask our institutional partners in this community to support us in our efforts to provide basic services to our citizens. Last year, Crouse Hospital became the second major nonprofit institution to enter into a service agreement with the city. Crouse agreed to pay the city $50,000 a year to help support the costs associated with city services, including snow plowing, fire protection, and other services traditionally paid through local property taxes. Crouse Hospital now joins Syracuse University as a major nonprofit institution that has entered into a service agreement with us. These agreements not only help the city's bottom line and therefore assist us in providing quality public services to our community, they are also a statement of collective vision, partnership, and community goodwill. I again want to thank Syracuse University Chancellor Nancy Cantor and take this opportunity to thank and ask him to stand Crouse Hospital President, CEO Paul Cronenberg. Additionally, we must continue the progress we have already made in modernizing our government structure and consolidating services. Already, the county executive and I have merged our purchasing department, co-located our economic development teams, and shared the services of an arborist between the city and county. Joni and I will continue to work together in 2013 to explore new ways to improve government efficiency and effectiveness and save taxpayer monies through modernization. In my first State of the City address on that cold night that I described to you in 2010, I said that we are all in this together. We must boldly face the future, and the imperative of collaboration has never been clearer. I said we could rise to the challenge, we could meet our potential, and with one voice, one vision, we could reach this brighter future. This goal and this image, this Syracuse that we have been reaching inside ourselves to see, this Syracuse that we have been dreaming about and talking about for so long, is becoming real before our eyes. This is happening. And we're doing all of this together. The only meaningful and lasting change happens anywhere. But this time, it isn't just happening anywhere, it's happening here, in our city, our Syracuse. Just think about what we have accomplished together, and just imagine what now suddenly seems possible. Think of what we might do next. I know I am. So thank you all for being here with me this evening, and I wish you all safe travels home.
Please remain standing for the benediction by Father John Schofer from the Brady Faith Center.
Lord, bless your people tonight, so that they may find in you the strength and faith they need. Bless and strengthen your people. May they remain faithful to you and always rejoice in your care. You do care for your people, even when we stray. So grant us a change in our hearts, so that we may always follow you with greater fidelity. And send your light upon us, upon our families, that they may continue and we may continue to enjoy your favor and devote ourselves to doing good. We rejoice that you are our Creator and Ruler, and we call upon your generosity to renew and keep us in your love. So now as we go forth tonight, let each one of us just ask the Lord for the courage and the strength that we need to make this city, our city, a city of justice, love, and peace. Amen.